Hedgehog Hollow. Today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and review on the new We Are Memory Keepers Precision Press Advanced. Try to say that quickly. And also I thought I would share some of my top tips when I open a press, how I kind of get it set up, and also working with magnets and things like that. Now, I did get my big scissors out to cut it open, but I did notice it had a really nice opening in the back here. So it has some perforations in the back and a pull tab. So in theory, we should just be able to pull it open here. So we can pull this tab here. And I'm going to just have to snip to get this side started. I do like some frustration-free packaging, so we can get this open and we can get going. So a stamp press, if you haven't seen one before, we have lots of videos on the channel, and I'll try and get some linked in that top right-hand corner for you. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to stamp in the same place multiple times. It allows you to stamp multiple cards all in the same place. And you know, sometimes we stamp and we don't get that perfect image. Well, a stamp press is going to allow you to stamp over and over again until you have the perfect image, which is great for really detailed stamps, for large stamps. Maybe if you want to use more than one colour on a stamp, all those things allow you to do those things with a stamp press. Now, Greg's behind the camera. He's watching me fight with this packaging, but he's not being a gentleman and helping me get it out easily. Now, there are some instructions and things on here. I did take a quick peek at them before the video. So this is a little bit different to things like the MISTI and things like that. Now, there was a We Are press once before, which I did do an unboxing of. Check that top right-hand corner, and I wasn't a huge fan of it, I have to say. I did give it to one of the girls to use. But let's have a look at this one. So we have 3 pieces here. I'm going to take this one apart. So we have a foam mat, which lots of stampers like to stamp on. It does have a grid printed on it here. This is your base plate, and there is a grid lines etched in here as well. So there's grid lines, 1/4 inch grid lines etched in here. And then we have our top acrylic base plate as well. And then we have these kind of silicone pads, which are going to help us get that perfect impression. And we also have 2 magnets. So I don't tend to work with magnets that often anymore. But what I do with any magnets that I work with is I take a piece of duct tape, and I'm going to cut this off here. And yes, I do have pink spotty duct tape. I actually go out of my way to find pretty duct tape. Now, the first time I found pink spotty duct tape, we still lived in England. I'm going to use my non-stick scissors to hold it there. And the first roll I had, I went back to England with. And Greg, I don't know if he's going to admit to this, but he actually stole my roll of pink spotty duct tape. And he hid it from me because he said, "Oh, that's so cute. It's really cute. I want to keep it because it reminds me of you." Didn't you, Greg?
No.
You did. So what I do is I make a little sandwich around my magnet here. And you can see that's now packaged in it. Now, there's a few reasons I do this. So this has got a magnetic plate in here, which the first one didn't have. So first of all, it makes my magnet now really easy to pick up because I've got those tabs on there. Secondly, if my magnets come together, they're really hard to get apart. So I don't have to worry about that. I can easily now slide it apart because I've got those tabs. And if they snap together and break, I'm not going to hurt myself or have any issues with it because it's contained in this little duct tape pouch. So there's lots of reasons why I do that. And for me, it's just much easier to have them contained in there. However, Greg, do I use my magnets inside of my stamp presses anymore?
No, you've got that new foam sticky thing.
Yes.
You keep going on and on about.
So Greg's fed up of hearing about my sticky sheet, but it is the best thing ever. So these are Sizzix sticky sheets, and you get a pack which comes with 5 sheets in a pack. And you don't have to use the whole thing. You can get big sheets and you can get smaller sheets. And for this, you would only need a small piece of a sheet. So you could cut it down, for instance, down like this here. And if I grab my craft pick out, so they come with sticky on, or release sheets I should say, on both sides. And I'm going to show you why these are so amazing. I know you could cut one to the perfect size for your piece. And you could put this on the foam or you could put it on the hard surface. You could put it on either. And these are removable, so that you don't have to keep it there either. And I put one of these in my MISTI and I have it on the mouse pad. So I'm going to put it somewhere towards the middle like this. And you just stick it down. Give it a good rub. And again, you could put some washi tape or some duct tape down and just put that around the edges. And then I'm going to use my craft pick. And then you peel that second release sheet up. And I'm just peeling across. And I've managed to split my release sheet, so I'm going to go from the other side and meet in the middle. And my craft pick is covered in adhesive because I've been crafting all day today, making some really fun things for Creativation, which I'm not sure when these videos are going to go live because we're filming all out of sync at the minute, which is the joy of filming videos. So Creativation might even have been by the time we show you this video, but we are busy crafting at the minute. So here we go. Just have a little bit of release paper. And this is the great thing about Craft Pick, because it just allows you to pick all these things up. So now I have this sticky sheet on it. And think of it as like a really heavy duty post-it note. And I'll show you why it's so amazing in a minute. Because what I'm going to do is we're going to do some stamping. And I picked out some different stamps and things that we're going to stamp with so that I can give you a review of how well does it stamp and what can we stamp with it. So that's on there too. And what we can now do is we can take our piece of paper. So rather than having to use magnets, I can now just put my piece of paper down like this. And I can move my base around and it's not going to go anywhere because it's held in place by my sticky sheet. And that sticky sheet will last you ages and ages. Now the one thing about this is you'll notice two of these edges are open. And so what that means is if I want to stamp on a larger piece of paper, I can put a larger piece in here and it just comes out the edge. And when I'm going to stamp in a minute, when I put my edge on like this, you can see I can stamp on any size piece of paper or cardstock that I want to. So let's try and do some stamping. I'm going to stamp with and without the foam. So let's start without the foam. And I'm going to stamp some Photopolymer stamps and I'm going to stamp some rubber stamps. So we're going to try stamping both because we want to see if we can stamp both. So this is an Alter New Leaf and this is a Tim Holtz insect. So that's what we're going to try out first of all. So as I would if I was using my MISTI, I'm going to pop my leaf down. And this goes on by lining up these pegs on here. And I just press down and I lift it up. And then I'm going to use my ink pad. And I'm going to ink it up. And then I line it back up. And I press down. And you can see there I can lift it back up again. Now if I wanted to ink that back up, so say for instance I hadn't got the perfect impression that I wanted, it does take a little bit more force than stamping with say my MISTI or my Tim Holtz platform or my Stamper Artist. So again I would line up my pegs. You'll see it sits above, so it's not until I now press down that I'm now actually stamping down. And now it's stamped on top again. And it has stamped pretty much on top there. So I have got a pretty perfect second time impression. Now the other thing that you can do is because you've got these pegs on here, I kind of expected that I'd be able to move it one peg over, but you can't actually do that. Do you see what I mean, Greg?
That would be a nice feature, wouldn't it? What you could do is rotate it though. At 90 degrees.
What?
You could rotate the whole top around 90 degrees and stamp
like
at different
that.
angles, yeah.
Oh, you could, yeah, that's true. So you could keep turning it around. So for like turnabout stamps. So if you have a Concord and 9th turnabout stamp, and this month, so actually when I'm filming this today was the release of turnabout stamp month kit thing. I'll put that towards. Today, when I'm filming this video, is the release of Concord & Knight's Turnabout kit and their Turnabout stamp month release. Hopefully that made a little bit more sense. And I ordered them all, so if you are all about the turnabouts, this would be perfect because you could just keep returning your top rather than having to turn your bottom. So that would be kind of cool.
Did I just have a really cool idea?
You did just have a really cool idea. See, Greg last night learned to stamp and now he's having cool crafting ideas. He's actually doing a jig, you can't see it, but he's doing a jig behind the camera. So yeah, this would be really cool for turnabout. So maybe I will be doing my turnabout stamping in here. So that's kind of a neat idea. I would kind of like to be able to move this along. Maybe if I took these rubber things out, I might be able to do that. I might have to have a think how I could do that. If I had it like... No, okay, you can't do that. That would be a really cool feature if you could have done it. You can do that with the Stampin' Up one. You can like move it peg by peg. Okay, so that you can't do. You could, of course, put another stamp on this side, and if you had multi-layer stamps, you could keep going backwards and forwards like this with your 2 different layers, and you wouldn't have to keep moving it. That's kind of neat. So that you can do with it. You do also have the option that if you can pick your piece of paper up, she says. So this, of course, is what your sticky sheet is great for, is you just stick it down and then you can pick it back up again. And I have some more paper. She's somewhere. So I'm going to get another piece of paper. We're going to do another leaf. But this time we're going to pop our grid in. So now we can pop our grid. And I could put my sticky sheet on my foam, but for this I'm not going to move it. I'm just going to use the magnet that comes with it. And we're going to ink back up our leaf. And so the idea of having the foam under there is if you have a super detailed stamp, so if you had a background stamp or something with lots and lots of detail in there, then you can see there, I've got a really nice impression in my stamp. So you can absolutely do that. And it was much easier, I have to say. And let's see how our impression goes the second time. Okay, so there's much less pressure needed when you've got that piece of foaming because you've got less to push it down. The only thing I'm going to say is you get a much thicker image when you do it the second time. So whereas when you stamp multiple times with your MISTI, you're less likely to get a thicker image. Whereas with this, I find I am getting a thicker image than when I do that MISTI. Let's try stamping with a rubber stamp because you may want to do that as well. So we're going to start first of all with our plain surface or non-foamed surface. So I'm going to try a piece of cardstock and I'll put my bug down and we'll put our lid on and we'll ink up our bug and I'll put my bug on the wrong side, so I'm going to stick it on this side. So the reason I want to stick it on this side, not this side, is because I have these little feet, which is what keeps it off of my surface, that allows me to position it perfectly before I give it that squidge down. So I'm going to pop this down, give it a press, and now I'm going to lift it back up again. And I'm going to do a second stamp. Now the one thing I'm going to say about a rubber stamp is I don't have to press this down at all. It's already, as soon as I'm putting this down, it's already pressing on my surface. But I'm still getting a really nice, clear image from my stamp. So we have it on there. Now let's try it. I don't know that the foam is going to work. I think this is going to be a little bit like the MISTI. I haven't even had a glass of wine this evening and I still can't talk. I think it's going to be a little bit like the MISTI. If you're using a rubber stamp, you won't need the foam, but let's try it. So you can see there, you can absolutely stamp with the foam on there as well. So if you have a really detailed rubber stamp, and I mean this insect stamped really nicely anyway, you can absolutely use the foam if you want to, but you still get a perfectly good image, and this one was stamped twice using without the foam. So this was without the foam twice, and this was with the foam just once. So what have we covered? Everything. We've covered the fact that you can stamp with the foam. We've covered the fact that you can stamp with photopolymers or with red rubber stamps. We've covered that you can stamp with bigger pieces of paper or smaller pieces of paper. Greg worked out it's the perfect press to use with Concord and Knight's Turnabout stamps. We talked about you can use magnets or sticky sheets, because Greg's not fed up of hearing about sticky sheets yet. I'm trying to check the back of the packaging. We talked about these little feet on here. I would say you do need more pressure than the MISTI. I'm not a huge fan of how thick my images came out with my photopolymers if I inked them more than once. I do think it's an improvement on their first press they came out with. I was not a big fan of the first press they came out with. It is a nice price point. You can get them in things like places like Joann's and things like that. So if that's your only option to shop in those kinds of stores, and of course you can use your coupons there. Overall, I still prefer my MISTI. Hope you liked my tip about the magnets. Have I covered everything? Greg says yes. Based on his education lesson yesterday, he thinks he's fully covered everything. He is, of course, he's now a pro stamper and he's giving me tips on stamping. So, we hope you have enjoyed this evening's video. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. Check out all of our Creativation videos because we were the official media partner of Creativation 2019. I'm sure my feet still hurt as you're watching this video. So don't forget to check those out as well. Check out all the links in the description below. Everything I used this evening will be there for you as well. And give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching this review. We'll see you again very soon. Happy stamping, everyone. Bye.